Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Temple Development Hub. If you're joining us for the first time, if you're a long-time member, thanks for coming back. It was great to see that we were up to 100 members yesterday, which was great news. A little celebration for us. And so thank you very much again to everyone for supporting the Hub as we've continued to grow as a community. It's great to have so many members from different corners of the world, and it's great to read your interactions and to find out more about you and what your teaching environment is, what your teaching experiences are, and so on. We still seem to be having a bit of problem with the chat function during our Facebook Lives. Unfortunately, we don't know why it's happening. It seems to happen for some people and not others. So apologies, and it might just be a case of refreshing the page. Okay, so joining me today is Harry Waters. Harry is based in Seville, and he's been teaching for many years. And then more recently, he's been involved in the BBC Pearson English live lessons. And he's also recently started up his own project called Renewable English. Just before we start, Harry, do you want to say a couple of words about Renewable English?
I could probably say more than a couple. We do only have an hour, so I'll limit it as much as possible. It's a climate change awareness course that I've created. I've been thinking about it for a very long time, since I worked at a private school here, and just saw the amount of wastage within the school, of everything, of electricity, of food, of plastic, of paper, of like everything. And just seeing it all so concentrated into one place with kids that were so young, and the fact the school did less than nothing. In fact, they probably did a bit more harm with the attitudes of the teachers and so on towards that. And since then, I thought we really need to get sustainability into the classroom in every lesson all the time. And I found that in ELT, there was kind of a sense of early closure among students because they're seeing the material, they get it once a year for 2 weeks of how awful everything is in the world and how everyone's terrible and destroying the planet, and everything's getting really bad and the weather's atrocious. And so they get this kind of, oh, now we've got to do this again. And what I wanted to do was take it away from just that one unit and so much like doom and gloom, take it away from that, put it in every unit that there is. So in fashion, in food, in school, in shopping, in all of the different areas, and make it a much more kind of positive thing. Look at the things that are being done and the things that can be done, and the things that we can do, the small steps we can take to achieve like a more healthy planet, basically. So I've put this together, and so far it's going okay.
Cool. Awesome. And I mean, I think that's very much the mood at the moment, that we want to move away from being eco warriors and kind of forcing these ideas on students, like you say, in the 2-week unit that they're doing on the environment, and making it something that is sustainable and integrated and a positive thing.
Yeah. It just doesn't work if you go in and tell people what they're doing is wrong and is bad. I mean, if I get on a rant, I can talk about the awful things that giant corporations are doing, or the government funding of certain things and missing out on other things. And, one message about sustainability, and then 2 minutes later, they're banning fake milk packaging from being like milk packaged. Like, the mixed messages we're receiving, but that's not going to work and that's not going to help. So trying to make it, a bit more positive. And something I've found with my students is always, if you're passionate about something, they'll be passionate about it. A lot of people say, oh, students are really bored of talking about sustainability. But if you make it a fun project at the end of the class, or if you make it something that they like teens, kids, adults won't get bored of it if you're passionate about it. Like, I love flags, and my classes, they come out knowing all sorts of things about flags, which completely unnecessary, and flags are really boring. But if you're passionate about it, then your kids will be passionate about it. So I thought, maybe I should move away from flags and so something slightly more useful to people and the planet. So that's what Renewable English is. We're not here to talk about that today, though. So,
but maybe another day, because
the website is almost ready. It should be up very soon, but you can find us on all sorts of social media. There'll be bits at the end.
Cool. Yep. We'll share all the links and everything in the chat as well, and in the session notes. Yep. Quick reminder that if you're joining us live or if you're watching us on catch up, we will be posting session notes on Monday with all of the ideas, and we'll try and add in everything that people mention in the chat as well. Okay, so Harry is joining us today for Zooming Around, sharing some no or low prep activities or games with all ages in the online environment. So Harry, over to you.
Okie dokie, thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen with everybody. So, if it accidentally goes onto my Facebook group or something like that, I'm sorry in advance. Oh, look at that. I was actually fully prepared for the session, which is nice. So yeah, there it says 10 no or low prep activities for your online classroom. There's probably a few more here, but depending on time, I may have to cut and skip and jump around. So there we have a nice picture of zooming around. It's not only for Zoom, obviously, it's for any online environment, and also most of them work as well, if not better, in a hybrid class. So if you're stuck for ideas in a hybrid class, it's always a fun way to go about it. Okay, so without further ado, we'll continue. Now, show and tell. This is something that I never did as a child, and was always really sad when I watched American TV shows and the kids had come in with their cactus. Like, I'm going to show and tell, I'm going to talk about my cactus today. This isn't really something we could do in a face-to-face classroom. We didn't want kids bringing their cacti into school, or that's a picture of my dog. She's an awful lot bigger now. She wouldn't fit in many ESL classrooms. So you can't do the show and tell in the same way as when you're at home and you've got your camera and you've got your time to prepare. So show and tell is great. Even for adults, they can show one of their past achievements in life. For example, I could show you this right here. As you can see, I got this for swimming 25 meters. 25 meters. I did this when I was 5 years old. It was a proud moment then, and it's a proud moment now. So people aren't going to want to bring in their precious certificates of their incredible achievements. So even your adult students or your the other students who are at university, maybe they can show you some of their achievements as well. Another great thing with this that I actually picked up off T, you can do it with photos as well. You can put a photo of their day at the beach, and if you want to turn it into an exam activity, there you go. You can describe it. You can describe the picture, say where they are. Something else that I got from this group, you can even take it up a notch and say, this must have been before the pandemic because they aren't wearing masks. So you can have them put it as their background. You can have them just share the screen. So making sure you've kind of handed the control of the class over as much as possible, because a lot of online games and activities are really passive, and it's a teacher saying, you do that, and then they do it. So this kind of gives a nice lead. Okay, so moving on. I'm not one for wordy PowerPoints, by the way, so you probably won't get that many. A treasure hunt. I'm sure all of you have done a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt in your time as an online teacher. Now, remember, again, this can be done for all levels. With your youngest kids, go and find something red, and then you count to 10 as loud as you can, and they have to come back with something red. You can do a whole group of things related to your class, related to the vocab. especially in the food lesson. It's fun as long as they've got permission from their parents. But you can also do it with your adults and with your teens. Why not get some pronunciation in there and say, go and find me something that rhymes with cat. Okay, hat. Go and find something with the same spelling as lead. And obviously everyone has a nice piece of lead piping hanging around, so they can get that. Obviously they must love Cluedo, I guess, or Clue, depending where you're from. So the treasure hunt is by far the favorite of any student I've had. And they can run off, they can then come back, they can present their item. It's really fun and students just go absolutely mad for it. So I would do it for, even adults. If you do have a hybrid class, you can have the students in the class deciding what the students at home have to go and find. That's one of the things that I've found with my hybrid class is you really have to kind of divide your objectives. You do have the same ultimate goal, but you have two separate learning environments. So you can put it on the students who are at home to go and get the items, but the students in the class have to tell them what to get or what it has to sound like or how many letters it has in it. Go and find me 5 things with 5 letters, just all these different ideas. So it isn't just the same thing over and over again. And a good thing, you kind of get to sit back and just count. I often say when I get stressed, it's good to count to 10. So this is a good one to just do it. Take a deep breath, you count to 10, and it's still within the activity. So you've got your bit of mindfulness in there as well. Okay, so we're racing through here. Nice segue. The city race, I would share my whiteboard. And well, you don't have to share your whiteboard. You can do it in the chat box as well. But I would just write out any capital city. So for example, if I said, hey guys, what's the capital of Rwanda? You'd all know because we're all geography buffs here. Or you'd look at the screen and you go, it's Kigali. Kigali, very good. So I'd write the word Kigali on the board. And then the students would have to find whichever words they could to complete each letter of the word. So for K, maybe they'd write key. For I, iguana. For G, go. For A, antelope. I should be writing these down because I'm going to try and make a sentence in a minute with them. So I think I probably will write them down. That was silly. So we've got key, iguana, go, antelope, leftovers, island. So you've gone through, you've got your words, and then students can write in the chat box a sentence using the words that they've found. So I lost my keys yesterday. Luckily, there was a helpful iguana who came along and said, go and get another set of keys cut from the antelope over there and take him the leftovers from my delicious vegan dinner last night. He loves them because he's from Ireland. I don't know why people from Ireland love vegan leftovers, but well, antelopes from Ireland, sorry. But maybe you can enlighten me. So it's a way of getting the students to think about different places in the world. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a city. I just like to have that way of getting into the activity, my way of kind of shimmying towards it. So yeah, they can think of different ones. I tried it once with Ouagadougou, which, as we all know, is the best capital name and is also the capital of Burkina Faso. But so many O's and U's, it's not the most natural sentence in the world. But it's a great way of encouraging them to not only look at nouns, maybe look towards some adjectives and maybe some verbs as well. maybe even an adverb here and there. Could be cheeky. So yeah, again, you can modify this to the level. This works with everyone. I've always found as a teacher that I really love playing games. So I play games outside of class as well. And I think most adults also like to play games, and often the more childish, the better. So every now and again, it is really important to make sure your adults are being silly as well, because at the moment everything's so very serious, and it really is very serious. But if you can have that moment of escapism, if you can take your students away from all of the negativity and craziness and get them at home screaming and shouting different capital cities that they've gone and learned because they want to make it really awkward for everybody, then I say that's a positive thing. Okay, moving on. Guess who said it? Now, I'm not exactly sure who these people are. They're from a vampire show. I think it's the Vampire Diaries. This has nothing to do with them. I, for example, might say, tell me your favorite song. Write it in the chat box, but only write it to me. Or tell me your favorite musical artist. Write it in the chat box and send it to me. Then as they were coming to me as the teacher, nobody else would be able to see it. And you can just say, okay, then, so somebody's favorite musical artist is Justin Bieber. Can anybody guess who it is? Excellent, it's T. How did you all know that? Is it because of her Belieber tattoo on the side of her finger? It could be that. So this can be for absolutely anything. It can be a favorite meal, a favorite word, what time they got up in the morning, what they had for breakfast, absolutely anything. And it's a way, again, of bringing it back to the students. If you make a different student the co-host as well, they can send all of the questions, responses to him or her, and that person can then be the guess who said it-er. Yeah, I just said that out loud. Remember to scratch that one from the notes, T. We'll cut that out at the end. So again, as with almost a lot of these games, it is about trying to take away from the teacher and give it more of the power to the students. And if it's anything involving a chat box, then you can do that. Obviously, it depends on the level. You're not going to have your 4-year-olds guessing who wrote as their favorite ride at the fairground. So obviously think about ages. I mean, most students from around 9 or 10 know their way around a computer pretty well. A lot of students an awful lot younger as well. So yeah, don't fight the power, give the power. Right. Now, I must apologize to anyone who's ever been to any of my sessions in maybe the last 5 years. If you have, you know what Songversations is. Songversations is my all-time favorite online, hybrid, face-to-face, in the car on my own activity. It is absolutely brilliant. Now, I'm so excited about it right now that instead of telling you what it is, I'm going to show you a video first, and then afterwards I'll just go through it a little bit. So I'm going to turn off my video and I'm going to turn off my microphone for just a moment, and I'm going to share the screen on the other one. So you're not going to see or hear me now. Just got to check I'm sharing my sound. Whoops. I bet I'm not. Ooh, schoolboy. Good afternoon, Taylor. My name's Harry. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I'm really sorry I'm late. I kind of got stuck in traffic. I did send you a message. So, what can you show me?
I can show you incredible things.
Fantastic. So, what sort of things?
Magic, madness, heaven, sin.
Okay, it's a strange mix of things. Next question. Now, what did you think when you first saw me?
I saw you there and I thought, oh my God, look at that face.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. I mean, it seems like a nice thing. So, what do I look like?
You look like my next mistake.
Wow, again, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Tell me, last question, what do you think about love?
Love's a game, wanna play.
Well, that's incredibly forward, Taylor, and thank you very much, but I'm a happily married man, so I'm going to end it there. Thanks very much for your time, Taylor, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, so you should be able to hear me again now. I think it's just gone on. I just need to stop the next video there, guys. I think it's decided to go ahead and just carry on playing, and nobody wants to hear Teo Cruz's dynamite version with me, do they? So let's get back to the let's maybe get back to what we were talking about. So Songversations, this is a wonderful activity that you can do with your students. They can either speak to a song, you know, you get the lyrics, you can translate the lyrics if you want to. It's completely up to you. But then, yeah, they write a question for each line of the song. But what I really impress on them in this is, in a conversation, it's not just, what's your name? My name is Harry. There's reactions. Now, I know from my time as a Cambridge examiner, that used to make me so mad in the collaborative task, that there was just, what do you think? I think that a number 6 drill bit is the most effective. Do you agree? I agree. And I think that the beard comb would be a good present for the teacher. Yeah, you know what I mean. There's none of the kind of linkers between having a proper conversation. This is a great way to practice. Students can then do it with the YouTube video, or they can do it with another partner when they can sing to each other. You can take it wherever you want. And it's always a good way of getting Taylor Swift into your lesson, which, let's be honest, is never a bad thing. So that's Songversations. That is my all-time favorite activity. And whenever I substitute a class, or it's all my go-to, I absolutely love it. Try it, play with it, make it better. Just have fun with it. You can turn it into a whole class, no problem. But you don't have to prepare anything. You just play a song. So it's always nice. And they can choose the songs as well. So the next one is Spot the Difference. Now, I'm going to ask T if anybody has made any kind of comment as to the fact that perhaps something looks a bit different to before that Taylor Swift video.
I noticed that nobody's commented.
That is disgraceful. Outrageous. And I bet nobody's said anything about my hilarious name either, have they?
As yet, no.
Oh, you see, I'm subliminally teaching people that, you know, it's great to use this subliminal kind of ideas and without announcing it. So Spot the Difference is really, really, really fun. Can anybody tell me any of the differences they can see? Well, not in the pictures, obviously, but so I'm going to stop sharing just for a moment. So can anyone spot a difference from what was there before?
Lucy's come up with "you've changed." Paulina says "your hat." There is one problem when you're sharing your screen. You're only Happy Waters.
Oh no!
Oh,
it's Happy Waterside. One of the fun things we can do with our names. Yes, obviously, I also put this picture up.
Yep, Lucy spotted that as well.
Good job. And then we, of course, saw the Pride of Valencina and its 25-meter swimming certificate. I've got a 50-meter one downstairs as well, but I haven't got time to get.
Simon seems to think you trimmed your beard whilst the video was on.
I did give it a comb, so thanks, Simon. Thanks for noticing. It really means a lot. Love a good beard, brother. Right, I'll get back to sharing and stop talking about my beard. That's something else I could easily digress about for quite a long time. So spot the difference. What I did, I just turned off my camera while a video was on and changed something around. At first, your students probably won't notice. I did this in a webinar, and there were about 300 people in there, and I changed my shirt. You can see that I like shirts when it's not cold, he says, looking out of the bright blue sky. Yeah, so I would always change something like that. And it's really easy to just chuck things around behind you, put something on the wall. After a while, students get used to it and they're like, you've put your hat on, which is good. Now we don't have to look at your bald spot. You should probably keep it on, mate. Okay, it's not that cold, but I'll keep it on. So yeah, enjoy spot the difference. It's something I picked up from Joe Wicks in doing his exercise routines. Always really fun. And you can get your hybrid students to do this as well. You can get your students to do it as well, change things around, and other people have to spot what they've changed. And again, you're comparing and contrasting. So while in the first picture, Harry's face is lit too much, in the second one, it looks a bit like he's got a tan. Clever lighting. I never have a tan. I'm afraid of the sun. So, breakout investigation. This is something my wife came up with where when we were trying to kind of get used to breakout rooms, when there was this new thing that we were a bit scared of because we didn't trust students, and we'd send them off and be like, go and spend 5 minutes in there because I need to breathe. I need to make a cup of tea. I need to eat some crisps. I've been in this room for 4 hours and I'm going insane. You need your breakout rooms. Sometimes you're not going to monitor all of the breakout rooms, so it's good to have a really, really good task. What my wife came up with was breakout investigation, where you come up with a famous person, and in the breakout teams, they go and they investigate that one person. So this is from a music unit that I did in a book. And these 5, some superstars, others just regular stars, appeared. It's a great way to differentiate for your students as well. You can give a stronger group, somebody, pointless that nobody knows anything about, like Kanye West. I didn't say that. And maybe you could give like the students who need a bit more help, someone who's really easy to investigate. You can just pop onto Wikipedia and come up with Taylor Swift. And then they come back to the room and they share their ideas. They ask each other questions. Where were they born? Tell me something interesting about her. Tell me how many Guinness World Records she has. She has 7, I think. Yes, she has 7. So they can then come back and they can interview each other about the star or about the celebrity that they've talked about. Doesn't even have to be in individual teams. You might just have one famous person you're focusing on. I know my wife went through, I don't know if I've got the book here. There's a book, I think it's called Bedtime. I don't know what it's called in English. It's Bedtime Stories for Rebellious Girls is the translation. So, and it's just a bunch. It's a bunch of giant females in history, like people who have just done incredible things, but perhaps haven't all been heard about. So it's really good. And she'd go through that class by class, so they all knew that that's the kind of thing they were going to be investigating. Again, as I say, you can do it in teams, or you can just do one as like a big class project. What I like to then do with this, now this really depends on the level of your class, and I call it Twitch. I was going to call it Twitch Tube, but I couldn't decide what to put it with. So we do hot seat a lot. in the classroom. It's just a way of doing hot seat, but kind of switching it up. So after my students have been off and investigated someone, I ask them to come back. They can be in the chair, and then you can play this a few different ways. They can do a presentation as the person they've investigated. So I could be here and be Taylor Swift and be like, "Hi, I'm Taylor Swift. My birthday's the 13th of December, 1989. I've got lots of other facts here that I could read out to you, but I don't want to bore you with that." So they can sit there and they can do like a YouTube presentation of themselves. And while they're doing that presentation, other students can comment and they can do the reactions and stuff like that. So it's a bit like they're interacting at the same time. And another great thing about that, you can nominate another student to be the moderator. So that student can read the questions and go back to the celebrity and ask them any of the questions that came from the journalists or the class or the viewers. You can also do it like a Twitch stream where you have to have a much higher level for this, but where the student who's doing the presentation, they sit there, it's like hot seat, and the questions are just fired at them and they have to answer the questions as they come up. So this is, obviously for slightly higher levels. You can do it with your younger kids, just like hot seat. What's your favorite color? And if you do it in the chat box, it stops so much shouting over each other and it improves their writing at the same time. You can spot any mistakes that are coming up in there. And it's, for me, super fun. And it takes it away from being, okay, now you're doing a presentation. It takes it to, you're a YouTuber. You're somebody on TikTok. So we're going to ask you questions as if you're Charlie D'Amelio. Yeah. I'm down with the youth, despite my flat cap. Just need a pipe now. Except I don't smoke. Maybe just to look cool. So yeah, giving the students the opportunity to be the focal point of the class. I've found with our switch to online classes, to online teaching, it's made it an awful lot easier on the students. They're in their own personal space. You can ask all the other kids to turn their cameras off if they don't want to see the other kids' cameras. So they're just there. For me, it's really helped with that kind of bringing their protagonism into the classroom. It's just, you really need to be there to guide it. So for me, the teacher's effort has kind of gone up here, despite the fact there's less talking time. There's much more online classroom management, which is definitely a blog I want to read. So if anyone's got a blog, if they could post it on the hub or a webinar, I'd also appreciate reading that. That'd be really interesting, actually. Sorry, again, I digress. I will move on from the Twitch. How to. I used to love with my older teens and adult students doing a typical culture lesson all about how to make a proper cup of tea. I would bring the kettle in, I'd bring in all the cups and stuff like that. You don't even need to do that anymore. You can just go to your kitchen. It's brilliant. So you can do your how to make a proper cup of tea in the kitchen using oat milk. So it's a new twist on a proper cup of tea. So you can take them in there and you can go through all of the steps. It doesn't have to be a cup of tea. It can be anything. It can be a craft. It can be something that one of your passions. I don't know. Maybe you like karate. You can show them how to do a kata from karate. Maybe you really love yoga. You can show them that. But then, even better, it's a way of passing it over to those students. So if they do karate, which is probably slightly more likely, then they can show you that. If they make videos, they can show you how to make a video. If they love TikTok, they can show you the TikTok and you can all do it together. You can work through it together. Again, you're in your own home. You don't really have to look at other people at the time and you can just stand there and do whatever you want to do. I don't do TikTok really. But would be happy if T were to say, I've got a brilliant TikTok, let's practice it together, then I'd be happy to join in. I'm glad that she's looking awkwardly and saying I don't have one of those, because that would be really embarrassing for me. But I do have proper trousers on, so I would be able to stand up. So I'm winning with that one today. So yeah, how-to lessons, bring your students into your home, show them around, show them your other skills, and let them show you and their classmates their other skills. This is something that it's more difficult to do in the class because they don't have all their relevant tools. And yeah, it's always fun with your adult students to go for the let's have a cup of tea. You know, you can go into the pronunciation, you can talk about, you know, to put on a pot of tea, you can talk about all the different types of teas. You can talk about when someone walks in and you say, should I put the kettle on? Because you know that they're stressed. You can talk about the peak of electricity usage in the 1990 World Cup semi-final penalties. Obviously, after the disappointment, the most electricity ever used in the UK happened. It's called the kettle effect. Anyway, you can put all of that into just making a cup of tea, and this does have a bit of preparation, I admit, because you have to make the tea, but you can just walk into the kitchen with your phone. So there you go. Okay, then. Does everybody remember the 2017 sensation, the Mannequin Challenge? Some of your students won't, because they have a very short attention span, or they just don't remember things that happened 4 years ago. I think it was the 2017 sensation. It was the year after Pokemon Go, wasn't it? I think. Anyway, so the Mannequin Challenge. I would always show my students a video or a GIF, in this case, of the Mannequin Challenge, where people have to strike a pose and hold it. And you can either record it, you can put the music on in the background if you want to. What I like to do is make sure one student can't hear, or go send a student or two students into a breakout room and then talk amongst the class what you're going to do. Maybe you're going to do personality adjectives for younger students. Maybe you're going to do types of weather. One I did with young students was days of the week, which was absolutely not impossible, but everyone got Friday, Saturday, and Monday. The other day is kind of blended into this. Is that Wednesday? I don't really know. Yeah, it's a hump. I'm doing a hump. Why don't you have a C1 level of English, Bebe? I know you're only 7. How could you not know? You are a camel? That'll do. Camel day. That's great. But yeah, you can do this with video. So let's say you've just done one of those brilliant drama videos that you get in all books and you've got on your digital software. You can do that, and you can get the students to kind of hold poses from it, and another student has to go through and say which bit of the dialogue they are, or which bit of the video that they were. You can get people to be their favorite film. You can get people to be a food. You can get people to mannequin anything. And if you put the Mannequin Challenge music on in the background and they hold it for a while, it's a bit of fun. You can also record it as a video and you're all in your different places. Then you can go back to it later, maybe even write a story. So you get everybody to be a character, or to be an emotion, or to be something from the word Kigali. So they all have to be something from there. So, you know, here's me being a key. I don't know, you know, it's one of like 6 words. It can't be that hard. As I say, students will really get into this as well. This is really, really good for hybrid classes too, to connect your 2 classes. Something else fantastic with the hybrid classes that I didn't mention before is it's really good to pair up. And when you pair up, or when you have teams, you can put the team name in the box here, and your team can be the Happy Waterside team, or your team can be the angry iguanas from Kigali. And you can put the team names on there. So again, it's that way of linking the groups together. And if you're doing interviews, especially if you're asking questions, it's always really good to put people together in that way. So just another little tip there. There we go. Let's look at it. I love space as well. So showing people this is never a bad thing. Okay. Armless fun. I'm sure everybody has, a bit like the Mannequin Challenge, everyone has played charades in their online classrooms. And as like with the Mannequin Challenge, it's really hard to do the more abstract things. It's a bit more difficult. Now, this takes it one step further. I've done so much with students with, charades. Do charades without your arms. It's really hard. So we're going to start with a nice easy one. So obviously we need T to be involved in this one. So T, I'd like you to show us a personality adjective.
You might need to, I don't know whether people can see me, but you can see me, so.
I can see you. I hope everyone can see you. I can see you there. Are you surprised? Are you pensive? Are you high and mighty? Snooty, hoity-toity?
It's tricky.
It's really tricky. Are you gonna tell me?
Proud. I was trying.
Okay, proud. That's a good one. Could have gone with sad. Would have been really easy.
That's true. I thought I'd make it a bit more difficult.
Embarrass me. But then,
it always works.
But that again, you tell someone to describe Monday, and they have to really show you with their face, like, or just. But you tell them to describe Saturday. That's me dancing, by the way. It looks better with my flowing locks. So yeah, if you're getting bored of charades, try and do it without any arms. It's really hard, but it's really, really funny as well. So you obviously do the words that you've just done. It's really good for animal body parts. I just did it with my class the other day with animal body parts. Like horns and stuff are okay. Wings is okay because they kind of flap a bit. Tail is brilliant. Tail is absolutely brilliant. But claws was super hard. I had them trying to do it like with their feet, lifting their feet up, it's really, really hard. But you have to use your whole body. You have to move around a bit. If you don't want to do no arms, you can have one hand, or you're allowed one finger extra if you want to use that one finger. You could give someone a bonus if they win a game. You can say, right, you can use 4 fingers to do your charade now. So just trying to make those games that we've been using over and over again that might be getting a bit tired, trying to kind of liven them up and make them a bit more fun for students. And you can also describe what harmless fun is, and it's a hilarious play on words as well. And who doesn't love a hilarious play on words? Right then. I mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. I don't know how much you love or hate TikTok. I neither love nor hate TikTok. There are some funny videos on there, but this is a great way of getting your students to kind of give them that show and tell moment. It doesn't have to be TikTok, but yeah, encouraging students to bring their TikTok videos to the class if they're age appropriate. If they've published it on the internet, then they've published it on the internet. If they don't have a private account and so on. So it's a great way of bringing that into the class, letting them show their skills, their favorite dances, or even just, I don't know, maybe they've made a life hack video on how to bring celery back to life again. That would be brilliant on TikTok. I definitely have never made one of those. watch for lesson 4, food waste, renewable English. Stay tuned. So yeah, bringing students' passions like TikTok into the classroom and dedicating that time of the class to let students show you their TikToks. They can then describe what their TikTok is. It gives them extra views as well. If they think that even they're getting an extra 10 views or an extra 10 likes for it, they're going to be even happier to do that, to use it. And in that respect, this is a way of really bringing Instagram in as well. Giving hashtags to your activities, giving homework on Instagram to follow by a hashtag. Don't bombard students with too much homework of they have to finish the book. Students are going to miss loads of the book at the moment. Students aren't in the exact right mind frame for that as well. So maybe do something away from the book. So yeah, give them a hashtag to work on. You can have it for your lesson, for your class, for the theme that you're studying. And yeah, if you're on Instagram as well, give it a like. Why not? Share it on your stories. Why not? If it's a good one, it's up to you to get your level or who your students are. I follow my adult students, and there are a few teen students that follow me. So I haven't followed them back yet. When renewable English is massive, obviously, that's when I'll follow them back. Trying to keep that ratio, So yeah, as I say, bring this into the classroom, bring memes into the classroom as well. Memes are something you might need to do a little bit of extra preparation, but just go on to meme templates. Just put a picture of a meme up and get them to write in the chat box. Write the meme. This is obviously more for teenagers and adults. Can't really be used for the younger kids. But that is me for now. We've got some minutes. I think we've got about 13 minutes left. So if we wanted to have a chat and have a talk in the chat box, I'm going to go over to the Facebook chat as well now in a minute. I have talked a lot about renewable English. That's what the website is going to look like. I'm currently working on it. And when it does go live, it's not going to be anywhere near perfect. There's also, I've got the link here for the blog that I wrote for Zooming Around, and there are 17 activities in there. So it does have all of the descriptions for all of these different activities in there. It does have the link to Songversations as well. So that's all
there was a question about Songversations, and then Carmen asked, is it better to do it in real time on their phones? And then Michelle shared the link to the ELT Learning Journeys blog. Mm-hmm. You shared the instructions for it there.
Exactly. As I say, with Songversations, you can do it in real time. I play it all the time. For me, it's really helped my Spanish as well. Just driving along, having a chat with Manuel Carrasco. I mean, it's every girl's dream. I had tickets to his concert last year. It's been postponed to this year, and it's going to be postponed again. So yeah, it's really helped improve my Spanish, driving along, talking to Manuel Carrasco. It's more difficult to do it in real time with students. So that's why they sit there, they press space. And it's a great way to work on those like reactions to what people have said. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a real treat, and I'll go to that the Dynamite page, and I'll let you watch my Dynamite version as well, because that will surely help with everything. I'm just going to log back into Flipgrid because I obviously decided to turn it off because that's the kind of guy that
I am. Whilst you're checking that, whilst you're logging in,
yes,
a couple of interesting comments came up. Simon shared the Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls, the link to that book. And
so good. It is so good.
So good. You seem to be freezing on me at the moment. Never mind. Hopefully we'll
I apologise.
Be safe for the next 10 minutes. Lots of good comments as well about linking the home environment and bringing that into the classroom. There was an interesting comment originally from Michelle, who said, you know, we need to be careful. Do students actually want us to come into their houses? And Christine added that, yep, sometimes they see us as the authority and will kind of do what we tell them to, but is it actually what they want to do? So definitely something for everyone to think about.
Yeah, 100%. Ask them, and especially if there's food involved, get them to ask their parents, and make sure you see when they ask their parents, because you don't want them coming out with like eggs. Like 3-year-old who's just reached up and go, well, I got one. So I might have to clean the rest of that up. So yeah, make sure, ask permission. Do they want to? One thing that I actually left off there is something that I do with my nieces all the time. I give Spanish classes to my nieces, and we play hide and seek. Now you can either hide a person, but you need another person with you, or you can hide a thing. So I could hide my stylish beard comb anywhere around the room, and then it's a great opportunity for the students to say, go left, go right, it's in the drawer, it's under the box. Hide and seek is a super fun game as well. It's like a reverse it's a treasure hunt, but just on a smaller scale. They see the idea, and students go crazy for that. When I was doing the house, I just said, you have to find it. It's in the house, and they had to guide me around the whole house. And so they're in the living room, the downstairs bathroom, in the kitchen cupboard. So you're practicing all of that vocabulary, and all they're trying to do is find your wonderful, delightful beard comb. I'm not actually promoting this beard comb. I should give Peter's beard a call and tell him that I've been talking about his beard comb non-stop. Hide and seek's great.
And I think that so many of the things that you showed today were activities that we were doing already before we went online. That thing of hiding the bomb, hiding a Post-it note with something drawn on it, and then students having to guess where it was just in the classroom. But like you say, this opens it up to so much more vocabulary, which is great.
You can also hide it on the PowerPoint as well. That's just to keep them awake, basically. Like, where's the pink dot or something like that, so you can hide it there. But if you're willing to show them around your house, like my house is pretty tidy, so I have no problem showing them around. If you're willing to go, even in your office or your spare room or wherever you're teaching from, like, use that freedom. Log in one day on your phone, so you do have the freedom to walk around. Because right now, I wouldn't really fancy picking up my laptop, microphone, and webcam to show you around. I could probably show you like that side of the room. Oh, there's a table with renewable English on it. And there's my Klimt. It's not an original. So I will share the Dynamite version of the video if anyone would like to see it.
Awesome.
Okay, everyone said yes. I've just done it this time with the lyrics video as opposed to with the actual video of him, so you could kind of read along. And that.
What did you come here to do?
I came to dance.
Interesting. So what do you tend to do when you do that? What are your ideas for the day? What are the plans?
I hit the floor because that's my plans.
So you've got a really nice outfit there, I can see. What exactly are you wearing?
I'm wearing all my favorite brands.
Oh, fantastic. Can I see that? If I get a little closer, can I just... Oh, sorry. Am I in the way?
You give me space for both my hands.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I just got very excited by the clothes that you're wearing there. So, tell me all about these fantastic ceremonies. Do you enjoy them? Are they a good time? How do you feel about them? But in a good way, obviously. So, what are the things you would occasionally do at this kind of award ceremony? Do you have any accompanying shouts, or do you ever say anything?
There we go. So that's that. That's Songversation. You can do it with almost any song. Just make sure that it doesn't start with a question. It gets a bit tricky if it starts with a question.
Cool. There was also a question from Christine about the Breakout Investigations. Do you normally pick the people for them to choose from, or can they choose who they want to talk about? Who they want
Either or, really. Can you see me? Ooh.
I can.
Excellent. Sorry, it just made me leave the meeting. Either or, really, depending on your class. As I say, the way my wife did it was talking about finding a different female in history and going through it, talking about those. I like to do it at the moment with different teen eco warriors, like showing what young people can do, teen and even younger, to be honest. That's one of the focuses I like to look at. Yeah, up to you. Either you give it to them or you ask them to do it for you. It's often easier if you decide, because they don't have those 5 minutes of them saying, no, I don't want to do a Madrid player. I want to do a Barcelona player. No, I don't want to do Messi. Yeah. So, and then, yeah, that way as well, you don't just get 1,000 Leo Messis, which can be somewhat trying sometimes. It's amazing how many times I've seen the presentation about Leo Messi in the last 12 years and how little I know about him.
How little sticks. Lucy says, what app or software do you use for your Songversations videos?
That was from Flipgrid. I use it for Flipgrid. You can just do it on Zoom and record yourself on Zoom. Or you can use Screencast-O-Matic is another one. I think there are others as well, but I put mine on Flipgrid and I did mine with Zoom. I know how to use Zoom. I like sharing screens on Zoom. I'm used to all the shortcuts. I love shortcuts. It's another one of my passions. Flags, shortcuts, the environment. They have levels of importance there, but not that order. Anything else?
No, just a quick shout out to Lisa, because she guessed that I was being proud.
Well done, Lisa. Very good. I'm impressed. I'm not proud of my performance. This is ashamed.
Well, can you do it with no hands?
I can't not laugh.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, so a huge thanks to everybody for coming along. Remember that you can join the Renewable English group. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can watch all of the videos 500 or 600 times over the weekend. That's your homework. What I would also really love is any ideas that you have. I know Lucy sent me something that I haven't uploaded just yet, but I am going to upload it. But yeah, anything you want, just chuck it, post it in there. Feel free. If you have ideas about what you might want to do, what want to add to Renewable English, if you are an eco champion in some way and I can talk to you about what you champion, because I have interviews in all of the lessons, as you may have seen an interview with my nanny and my brother. So yeah, anything that you do or you think would be good to go on Renewable English, anything with a positive spin on something that is probably the most awful thing hanging over our heads, any way that we can spin it in a positive way and show people how we can all be champions, then yeah, if we're not buying things covered in plastic and giant products like that, then oil companies won't make as much money. So it is down to us. People say it's the big companies. Yes, it is, but every single little person needs to not buy stuff from those big companies for it to make a difference. So let's do it. We can, I believe.
Well, I mean, we would love to have you back another time to do something like more focused on Renewable English.
I would love to be back very soon. I have something very nearly prepared on Renewable English. It's been such a crazy, hectic time. So yeah, I'll have less inane ramblings, more focused ideas in future. But yeah, who doesn't love an inane rambling every now and again?
Fabulous. Well, there's been lots and lots of thank you messages coming up on the chat. And so, yeah, huge thank you again to Harry for his fantastic ideas this morning. And yep, add any more ideas that you have to the chat, and then we'll add them to the notes and continue to share, connect, and develop. And have a very wonderful Thursday. Goodbye.